Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Jones. I'm your instructor for, we'll call it Math 0300, even though it's got a much longer title in reality. I'm just posting this video to give us a little overview of the course, as well as kind of a tour of our course webpage, just to familiarize you with it. There are some unique things to this course that are actually pretty important to understand just from the student's perspective. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Before we kind of get into the tour of the course webpage, there are three things that I want to kind of preface and talk about just with how the course is going to run. So first and foremost, as you can see with this ugly course name, this is a cross-listed supported course, and both of those words mean their own thing. So this is cross-listed, meaning there were two different sections of Math 0300 that, depending on who you are, you signed up for one or the other. And now I've combined them into one course. It's much easier for me to do that. It saves me time from having to post assignments in two different places and announcements in two different places. Now everything is just lumped into basically one mega class, if you will. It won't matter for you really at all. That's just on my end. It makes things nice. You won't really notice any difference whether you are in section X80 or X81. The second word I said was this is a supported course. So not only are you taking the 4-credit Math 0300, but you are also taking subsequently at the same time, you are taking the 1-credit Math 0200, which is basically just extra help, if you will. There are some assignments that are specific to Math 0200, and I'll talk about that in more detail later and how we work with the grades for those courses. But that is something to keep in mind for later in this video, is that your grades for Math 0300 and Math 0200 can be different. So I will talk about that. But this is a support course. It should help you get that extra little boost and extra little help that you need to succeed. The other thing I want to mention is that given the section number has an X in it, this is a pooled section, and if you're not from Front Range Community College, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. I am an FRCC instructor. This course uses a lot of FRCC content and materials, if you will, but all colleges, multiple colleges from CCCS are put into the students from those colleges are put into this course. Honestly, from your perspective, there's really not much there that you're going to notice a huge difference with. You'll see some language and whatnot in like the syllabus that says FRCC and things of that nature. But I've done my best to make the course all inclusive to anybody from any college. So you really shouldn't notice many differences or many changes on your end, even if you're not from FRCC. So cross-listed, supported, pooled course. We've got a lot of words there. Let's go ahead and jump into the actual tour of the course page here. So first and foremost, right on the home page, you have announcements. You obviously won't see this announcement here because I'll remove it before the semester starts, but any announcements that I post here will show up right here. You should check these daily, at worst every other day, because I'll post some things that maybe need to be replied to ASAP or information that you need to know quickly. Anything pertinent will go right here in announcements. So keep an eye out for those. We're basically going to go through in this tour, we're going to go through this top menu bar. There are some things that we'll very quickly glance over and some things that we will dive more deeply into. I will mention that we have quizzes in our course, but they are not located in this quizzes tab. I'll go ahead and click on this so you can see there's nothing in this tab. I do not utilize this for quote-unquote quizzes, but you still have quizzes. I will show you where those are later. Class list, I won't bother clicking on it, but you can look at your other classmates' names and you can message them through that if you want. That's a nice thing, maybe for making study groups or things like that. Assignments, I'm just going to click on this just to get this out of the way. These aren't actually quote unquote assignments. Again, similar to the quizzes, your actual homework is located somewhere else, which I'll show you where that is in a bit. These, in this assignments tab, this is where you will submit work for your exams. So when you take your exams, you will write out all your work for the problems, you'll take photos of that work, and then you will upload that as a PDF right here where we're looking at. So you'll click on these and you can upload. So again, these aren't really quote unquote homework assignments, but they are where it's kind of like a Dropbox of where you will submit work for your exams. I'll wait on discussions. We'll come back to that. But let's go to content, because this is by far the main place that you're going to go. Pretty much anytime you want to do anything in the course, come to the homepage, click on content, and you have a whole bunch of modules here on the left. You'll hear me use the word modules over and over. And when I use that word, I'm talking about all of these that my cursor is scrolling over. We have some, if you'll call them intro modules here, kind of welcome modules, some how-tos, things like that. In the welcome start here module, there's a little bio about me, a welcome message, tips for success, little explanation of a pooled course. You can click through those at your leisure. I'm not going to do that in this video. We have the welcome schedule and syllabus. I'll go ahead and click on that. You have a course schedule, and then each section has its own syllabus. They're the same thing, except for just the section number is named differently. So the only reason I have that is if you're using your syllabus for something professional or something legal or formal, and you need an exact syllabus based on the course you took, make sure you use the right one based on the section. MyLab Math, we have multiple names for this. It gets a little confusing. It's sometimes called My Math Lab, sometimes called MyLab Math. I've seen it abbreviated MLM as well as MML, kind of all over the place. But My Math Lab, that's kind of what I tend to call it, is our main location, the location for doing your homeworks and your quizzes and your exams. Basically, most of the work, the math content work that you're going to be doing is in My Math Lab. To get there, you click right on this module. You can click on Course Home. There's a whole bunch of other things in here. I have these drop downs hidden. You can click through them. You can look through them. There's links to the textbook, chapter reviews, technology support, so many different things. But primarily, you'll click on that Course Home, and that is where you will access your assignments that you're going to complete. I'll go there in a second, but I want to show you what each week will kind of look like before I really show you what your homeworks are. Before I show you My Math Lab, I want to show you what your weeks will actually look like. So if I scroll down a little bit more, you can see on the left side here, I have weekly modules for all 10 weeks of this course. And even after that, there's a couple little modules for extra resources, for extra help and things like that. But these weekly modules are the bulk of where you're going to go. So each week, say we're in week 4, you would click on week 4, and I have a wonderful description of what we're going to do that week, the sections we're going to cover. I have a list of assignments due that week and when they are due, and you'll find that that's actually quite repetitive. I've tried to make it follow a very similar pattern each week. There's lecture videos that you can watch, and then I have a link to the My Math Lab here as well. This is just in duplicate from what we saw before, but you can click either place. But kind of looking at this assignments right here, it will give you a sense of what I'm expecting you to do each week. And it basically boils down into 2 locations. There's Discussion Post and there's My Math Lab. Within My Math Lab, you have video assignments, and these are always due on Thursday of the week. And then you have My Math Lab homeworks and quizzes, which are due on the Monday of each week. And now you might be wondering, okay, wait a minute. He just said each week, Thursday and Monday. Let me explain. Our typical quote-unquote week will start on a Tuesday, with a Thursday being like a midweek deadline, and then everything finally due on Monday, with then the next week starting the Tuesday after that. It's a little weird. I have my reasons for it. I'm not going to really go into depth on why, but weeks start on Tuesday and end on Monday, with Thursday being a kind of midweek deadline. That isn't always exactly the case. Actually, most notably, the class ends on a Sunday. So I will note when that happens, but keep an eye out. All of these dates over here, which you can see, 12/2 to 12/8, 11/19 to 11/24, those are all accurate. So you go off of those, but understand that typically Tuesday to Monday is our week. So on Thursdays, right, you'll get into the week the first couple days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You got 3 whole days there. You need to do a discussion post, which I'll talk about, and you need to do the MML video assignments. And I also recommend, there's no way for me to monitor this, but I recommend that you watch these lecture videos that I have linked right down here. They're from Christy Gomez, and they're wonderful. Then you have Friday, you have the weekend if you choose to, and you have Monday to do a discussion reply. Again, we'll talk about discussions a little bit later, and your MML homework as well as the quiz. The quizzes have prerequisites. You have to do those video assignments. So there is that. One thing I will mention is that these video assignments, while they are due on Thursday, you are allowed to do them up until the end of the week. You'll just have a late penalty if you do them after they're due, right? But you have to do them before you take the quiz. So you got to do them. If you do them by Thursday, you get full credit. If you do them after Thursday, you'll get a 25% late penalty. So I could go click on other weeks here. I'll click on week 5. It looks the exact same. There's really no differences here. The only changes are when we have an exam that week. So for example, in week 6, we have exam 2. And the only additional thing is you have an exam, which is also in my math lab. But you have the same things: discussion posts, video assignments, homeworks, quizzes, and then your exam. I have some exam reviews as well. It's all posted right here. Basically, on every Tuesday, you're going to click on the new week module, and you're going to read through it, and you're going to see what you have to do, and it's all right there. So, wonderful. With that, let's go ahead and go into my math lab, and let's take a look at this. So if you click on this course home, it'll take you right where you need to go. I already have this open in another tab, so let's go ahead and look at this. Now, this is my view. This will look a little bit different for you, but I think my view is more beneficial in this video because it shows a big, long list of all of our assignments. And the quick and short of it is that each section of our textbook that we cover, we have a video assignment and a homework assignment with a quiz at the end of the week that covers all of those sections. And this is exactly what I was talking about with these video assignments being due on Thursday, the homework assignments being due on Monday, and the quiz also being due on Monday. And you can see these dates, the start dates and the due dates, they correspond to exactly what I just said there. I can scroll down, you can just see it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Video assignment, homework assignment, video assignment, homework assignment. You can see our exams are in here. They are both password protected, which I have listed in the weekly modules, as well as their date and time restricted. So you can't just take those whenever. One thing you may notice in here is that I have some of these other assignments that specifically note Math 0200. These in their construction are the same as these other, video and homework assignments, but these are specific to Math 0200 as opposed to Math 0300. They're just supplemental things to help support you a little bit more, practice a little bit more, and get some kind of extra help with these topics. But most notably with this is that these assignments kind of go into the grade book a little bit differently, which I'll talk about in a second. But these are assignments just like your other video and homework assignments. One thing I'm actually noticing is I need to go include these in the weekly descriptions in here. So if I go into like week 1, you'll see that I don't list those Math 0200 specific assignments in here. I'll make sure to edit that before the class starts. But they're the same. They're the same as any other assignment. It's just that the grades for them are specific to Math 0200. But this is my math lab. There are tons of things in here, that you can click through. Like I showed you, if you go back into the course page and you click on my lab math right here, there's so many things here that you can click through, and I recommend that you do that. So, that's your weekly pattern, if you will. You'll watch some lecture videos, which right here that I have posted. You'll do the video assignments. You'll do homework. You'll do quiz. You'll do discussion posts, which again I know I keep mentioning, but I haven't talked about in detail yet. But what I want to show you is I want to talk about the difference between your Math 0200 grade and your Math 0300 grade, because I showed you that there are assignments that are very specific to Math 0200. So I'm going to go actually to our grade book here, and this is what it'll look like for you, and you'll see a handful of categories. So you see discussions, and there's a bunch of assignments in there. You'll see video assignments, and there's all of our video assignments are in there. You'll see homework, all of your homework assignments are in there. Quizzes, same thing. Exam 1, Exam 2, final exam. And then I have a category that has all of the Math 0200 specific assignments in them. And it's weird how I have to make this work, or how I have to do this, but the overall goal, from I guess my perspective when I'm entering grades, is that you have a different Math 0300 grade and a Math 0200 grade. It's almost like you're taking two courses at the same time. So all of your exams, your quizzes, the discussions, all of these homework assignments, the video assignments, those are all for Math 0300. And I don't want these 10 assignments here to count towards that. So what I do is I have the grades for these Math 0200 specific assignments. They're in your grade book, but they're weighted at 0%, meaning they don't count towards your grade. But I have to emphasize, they don't count towards your Math 0300 grade. So what I will do is I'll put these in, and they're in there, so you can see them in the grade book, knowing that they're not counting towards your Math 0300 grade because of the weighting is 0%. But your cumulative average of all of these 10 assignments will be your Math 0200 grade. And when you're looking at your gradebook, you can see a subtotal for this category, for this entire category. So you can see where your grade is at for Math 0200. Just know that it is weighted at 0% for your Math 0300 grade. So what this means is if you want to know your Math 0300 grade, scroll up to the top and you can just see your grade up at the top, final calculated grade. That is for Math 0300. And if you scroll down and you see your category grade for the Math 0200 stuff, that's your grade just for Math 0200. So, as I said before, as I explained before, they can be different. They may not, but they can be depending on how you do on these Math 0200 assignments. The other thing that I will mention is of these 10 assignments, they are heavily weighted towards the homework assignments. The video assignments are worth 10% of this overall Math 0200 grade, and the homework assignments are worth 90% of this Math 0200 grade. So yeah, if you have any questions on that, don't hesitate to email me. I have a good description here. I have an announcement that I post that describes this as well. I just don't want there to be any curveballs at the end of the semester if a student is confused as to why they have a different grade in Math 0200 versus Math 0300. Just know that I'm doing these calculations very in depth. I'm checking them, double checking them, triple checking them. I have my own spreadsheets where I do grades, and I'm checking them there as well. So I'm doing all the math. You don't have to worry about it. Just know that you have different grades in the 0200 versus 0300. Awesome. All right, we've talked about pretty much everything but discussions, and I want to save this for last, also because I am going to get out of student view here, which is what I was in. So let me go back. You don't have to worry about what I'm clicking through here. Here we have discussions, and with these discussions, the purpose is to facilitate communication between you and your classmates, and also between me and you. And so what we have here is pretty much every week we have some form of discussion post. Think of it like a forum that you'll post something and other students and myself can respond to it. These things vary from just in week 1, we'll just do some introductions about ourselves. Week 2, you can see there's some study skills building activities, so kind of learning study skills. Week 3, we have exam review, a plethora of things that could be useful. again, just trying to facilitate communication between everybody. These discussion posts require 2 check-ins per week minimum. You have to make a post by Thursday of every week, and then you have to reply to another classmate's post by Monday of that week, or I should say by the end of the week. And of course, you can tell that I make the post due by Thursday so that students have time to reply by Monday. So I don't really need to go in depth explaining what you're supposed to do for these posts and reply. I tell you right here. You can read that and see exactly what I want you to do. I tell you what to do. So you can do all that. I grade these fairly in depth, if you will. I look basically at 6 things. I look to see, did you make a post at all? Did you post on time? What's the quality of your post? And I do the same thing for replies, right? Did you reply on time? Did you even make a reply? And then what was the quality of your reply? So keep that in mind. But with that, we've actually kind of rounded out everything you're supposed to do each week. So maybe this makes more sense now. You can see by Thursday you have to post in the discussion. You got to do your video assignments for My Math Lab. Watch some lecture videos that are linked below. You can see by the end of the week, you have to reply to another classmate's discussion. You have to do your homework. You have to do your quiz. You have to do the exam if that is applicable. And it's all right there. Everything is in these weekly modules. On the non-kind of deliverable end of things, we've talked about this being a cross-listed course. We've talked about it being a supported section. We've talked about how the grades differ between Math 0200 and 0300. We've also talked about this being a pooled section. So that's fun. That's honestly pretty much it. One thing I do want to mention, I know that for a lot of you, this is kind of like one of the first math courses you may be taking, at Front Range or at your home college. This is a course that you will typically go from here and you will build up into future math courses. I really, really, really want to emphasize that even though this is an online course and the majority of you will never see my face other than this little icon right up here, other than on the homepage where you can see a nice headshot of me, I am here to help you. I have an email address. You are welcome to use it. It is ryan.jones@frontrange.edu. I implore you to ask me questions, ask for help. If you don't understand a topic, it is not your job to go figure it out on your own. It's my job to help you understand it. But the problem is, I can't help you if I don't know that you need that help. And that goes for any teacher that you have. I work with a lot of great colleagues, and I know that they all care deeply about your success, as do I. And I just really want to emphasize that I know this is an online course and it may feel like you're alone, but you are not. I am here to help you. I will meet with you over Zoom. I will help you. I will answer emails, answering your questions. Please just make sure you reach out and continue to do that throughout your future, math and college career. But wonderful. With that, we have a syllabus that you can read through for more details on anything. You can peruse through the course webpage a little bit more in depth. You can email me with any questions you have. But I think this has been a good overview of our course. Thanks for watching the video. Hope it wasn't too long. But yeah, I'm excited for a fun semester, and I'll see you all virtually.